Hello and welcome to The Hero Spouse. I'm Kendra Ruth, here to answer one of your questions about marriage and midlife crisis. Today we have Lori. Lori has a bomb drop of October 12th, 2024, and a date of marriage of 1998. She says she's not familiar with contact type, and her husband is a low-energy wallower. She says he moved out May 1st of 2025, and he still calls me daily. He comes over to the house 3 to 4 times a week, but he lives with his alienator. He cries all the time, and everything is about him. I've tried hard to understand, but this is so hard. Why can't they see what they are doing to our family? How long can this last? So, Lori, I'm so sorry this is happening to you. Everyone can probably tell, Lori, you're really new in this. And he was home for what was that, about 6 months? October to May, which is really hard. And then he's moved in with the alienator, which is, again, really hard. And he's crying daily. Right now, it sounds like you have a clinging boomerang because he's crying all the time. He's crying all the time about you, to you. And you're trying to understand him. He doesn't get it. He doesn't understand what he's doing, but he is crying. So he's showing his guilt and shame. First thing, how long can this last? Okay. Midlife crisis lasts 3 to upwards of 7 years. And I say upwards because I don't put a limit on that anymore. You will see timelines that say midlife crisis lasts, I think they say 2 to 7. I don't like the 2 because that is way too early. When I say 3, I don't put an expectation on 3. That is early, but it can go that short. But I consider that as short. But they have lasted that short. That is not the norm, but it is within the data. More typical would be on the 5. Okay. But 3 to upwards of 7, yeah, they can go upwards and last. They can get kind of stuck in there. Okay. And they cycle and just kind of, it's like they're tumbling along in a dryer and just get stuck, it feels, for a while. And just finally tumble out and they just look ruffled. Okay. And that can be many, many years. And that is, your husband is an escape and avoid, which is replay. Now, the next question I have is, what makes you think that he is a low energy wallower? Is it because he's crying all the time and that you can feel and see the depression? So he may be a low energy wallower, but he also may be a high energy replayer. I say that simply because he has moved out with the alienator. And that often is what happens with high energy replayers, but he may be low energy because he's showing you depression. I would watch and see what happens and how this plays out a little bit more as well. But it can last a very long time. And he is in the escape and avoid phase of this. And escape and avoid lasts for 18 months, and you start that at bomb drop. To, again, remember that 3 to upwards of 7 years, 18 months to however long it lasts. But I'm going to look at, I wouldn't say, if you asked me, where is he in his MLC, what stage is it? Up to 18 months, I will say, he's in escape and avoid. After 18 months, if you told me nothing, I would say, well, he might be out of escape and avoid. But if you told me he's in 6 months, he's been in for 12 months, anything, you told me no information but the bomb drop, I will tell you escape and avoid up to 18 months. Okay. So he is an escape and avoid. And so how long can this piece of it last, this escape and avoid? Just this piece. The running. And you might see cycling where they appear to go to the next piece, which is liminal and more depression, cycling downward, but then cycling back and forth and back and forth. Sure. But escape and avoid is at least 18 months. And like I said, it can go 5 years. It can go 7 years. Okay. Sorry. That's the bad news. Okay. Well, now, here's the good news. He calls you daily. Now, maybe that's bad news as well because it makes it challenging for you to detach, doesn't it? The bad, or maybe it's not bad news, but the challenging news is that given that it seems you have a clinging boomerang because he is calling you constantly, he's coming over to the house, he's crying at you, he's feeling a lot of guilt and shame. which tells you something that the man has a conscience, okay, and feeling bad. So you say, why can't he see what he's doing to his family? He can see it. The question is, if he can see it, why can't he do anything about it, right? It's more that, because the crying indicates he can see something. But think about an addict who knows they're an addict. You have the addicts who don't acknowledge it and they're in denial. Then you have the next level. You have the addicts who, they know they're addicts, but they're still not stopping. Some of them are just refusing to stop. They know the damage they're doing. Some of them leave their family because they know, and they're better off, some of them as a martyr. They aren't unable to stop because they are an addict. They can see what they're doing. He sees what he's doing. And now, look at it from inside him and imagine the pain he is in because he sees what he's doing. Okay? Better your head to be in than his with that pain, so level of pain. And so that is part of what makes them run, because they do see the destruction sometimes. Many of them do see the destruction, so they continue to run. So the next piece of bad news is midlife crisis gets worse before it gets better. He's only in the beginning of escape and avoid. It hasn't even been a year. And so you are still well before the full gets worse before it gets better. They go down, 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 because he's going to see this destruction. And he may continue to run from it. So here's the next thing you need to do. And it's very important. And it doesn't mean that it's easy. And it might be easier for some, depending on each individual's personal history, such as their level of trauma history and how resilient a person is. You need to heal and work on your detachment. The better you are at that, at detaching and healing, coming to a place of mindfulness, calm, and setting boundaries, the faster you can heal, and you can be a place of stability, and you can be a lighthouse for your spouse. You can be someone who they can look to as a guide or a mirror, an example. And they can look at that and go, oh, that's how I want to be. That's how to survive a trauma. That's the way I want to be in life. And you don't just suddenly start doing it. You have to learn through it and follow the example. It takes a lot. But that's what you become an attractive force. And it's really hard if you've got kids and other things, chaos is going around, a lot of things to juggle. But that is the goal for you, is you work really hard with your counseling. So get therapy, be in counseling. You got kids, get them in counseling. Go yourself. As often as you can get into your counselor, go. Work on detachment. Learn what it is. That is the most important tool in your toolbox. Whether you choose to stand for your marriage or you choose not to, detachment. Detach, detach, detach. You might be afraid of it, but it is what it takes. If you want to stand for your marriage, you want to reconcile, you have to detach, because you will not get a healthy, stable, reconciled marriage if you don't. And it is what you need to survive and thrive if you don't as well. Detachment, okay? So that's what you need to be working on. And that is going to help you when he comes over. And he's going to be crying at you. And maybe that will help him. Maybe it'll help you handle the crying. Maybe it'll help him stop crying. Or just you set a boundary with it. Or him calm through his crying also. Okay? It'll help with the empathy. Okay? And if you've taken Understanding Midlife Crisis, then maybe you can get some understanding of what's going on. If you haven't, go do that. Okay. If you haven't, the link should be below the description in the video that you're watching. Okay. Go through that so that you can understand what this is, what you're going through, because it does last a long time. But whether you stand for your marriage or not, I want you to get an understanding of what is happening, just so you can understand not so much, yes, what's happening to him, but I want you to understand what's happening in your life. That it's not your fault, but that he is confused. And from what he's displaying, that crying, he does understand the devastation right now. Okay? He really doesn't want to. He wants to run away from it. And that's what he's trying to do, is run away, escape from it. Okay? And right now, you're a comfort zone. I'm so sorry. I think you're going to have a lot more questions, okay? So head over to the Facebook page or the forum where you find a lot of company. Okay, and ask me what you need. Okay, I am here for more questions. Okay, so I hope this has helped. And I hope that it can help anyone else out there. Let me know.